All right, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of 2-point conversion, and I'm excited to have Nico back in the booth. I know he's been itching to talk Giants, itching to talk football all around. We've been texting nonstop about fantasy, our Giants, the Jets, even some Yankees, and I know Nico's amped for when hockey season comes back. He's the guy to go to for all your hockey information, especially New York hockey teams. I'm excited to get the Twitter up and going again. We'll be updating you guys on there as well. Nico, how's it feel to be back, buddy? Good to have you back in the booth.
Feels good.
Feels good?
Yeah, it feels good. I feel like I gotta get back in my rhythm, start yelling, screaming,
Right? Yeah.
start arguing with you.
Last week I was a little too
takes.
calm. I was like, something doesn't feel right. Usually Nico's here yelling at me.
Yeah, saying just
telling me my takes stink. And
because they do.
You know
little
to
nothing about sports.
So today I wrote up just a little outline, Giants recap of their comeback win in Arizona, little Jets recap, small Yankees segment as the season winds down, and then a Thursday night football preview. Started a little bit later than normal today. We'll probably bring you guys a half-hour show, try and get out of here 1:45. Nico's got class, and so does James. So we'll try and be quick today. Nico, anything off the top you want to talk about to start the show? If not, I could dive into some recap.
Yeah, I think I just got to get prepared for tonight. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, but we'll just figure it out, and it's not going to be pretty.
I want to spend the most time talking about that. So
we'll run through the first couple things
quick, and then you chime in whenever you want. All right. Real quick for the Giants, great 21-point comeback against the Cardinals in Arizona. As we both know, Giants were held scoreless for the first 6 quarters of the season. Very shocking, very surprising. But, man, did Daniel Jones go off in that second half.
Yeah, I mean, he actually performed. I mean, I was seeing a couple things. I don't know if it's true about Brian Daboll switching play calling. So now, like, Mike Kafka's not running the offense, but Daboll is. There was a couple clips of him covering up his mic. Maybe that has something to do with it, because in the second half, like,
night and day, right?
No, night and day. I mean, they're exposing the defense. You know, they're exposing the secondary, especially the safeties, when they're throwing Jalen Hyatt on those daggers like down the field.
Yeah,
and then that opens up everything else. I mean, Daniel Jones was running the ball. I think he had like 60 plus yards on the ground. But
you have the document I shared with you.
Yes.
59 on the ground.
So 60. But 59 on the ground. That opens up the run game, opens up Saquon, opens up short routes. Like, Darren Waller was getting chipped to the entire game, basically, on those angle routes down the middle of the field. So
my favorite part of that game was the guy you mentioned, Jalen Hyatt. Only 2 catches, but we finally got to see what he could do. And man, when that guy puts his head down, burns the corner, burns the safety. If Daniel, the one catch that he had, the bomb, if Daniel had thrown him a little more out in front, that's a touchdown. That's a breakaway touchdown.
Listen, it was pretty much in front. I mean, he just kind of slowed down a little bit. His speed, it's all about learning his timing, especially for Daniel Jones. Like, it's their second game together. You got to figure out, those wide receiver timings, because he's a quick guy. Daniel Jones really hasn't, gotten with someone right now with that kind of speed. He's Tyreek level type speed. I think they clocked him in like 23 miles an hour in training camp, which is like bizarre. But he's got insane speed, and when he's going down the field, you just got to get that timing right, and he figured it out in the second half, I think.
That was awesome. So that pretty much caps off that recap. One final thing I wanted to say about that game, and we'll get into it for the preview as well. The defense, Nico, really concerns me, because this was a unit that I expected to get better this year, and it seems like they've taken a major step back. Through 2 games, no sacks. People on Twitter are already calling Kayvon Thibodeau a bust. I want to come out on the record and say I think that's ridiculous, and he will get his. He will turn it up. Listen, I hope it starts tonight. He will turn it up.
The great Tiki Barber came out and was referring to how he has no sacks and how he was acting, because I think he had his head down on the sideline as we were winning. But it's all about scheme, and we're not seeing Kayvon. Like, people want Kayvon to be Nick Bosa, to be Joey Bosa, to be Micah Parsons. Like, they're not utilizing him like that to get to the quarterback. He's a very good run blocker. We see it on he picks him up, comes around the edge, right?
Sets the edge, definitely.
Sets the edge 100%. And if he's not utilized in the way where it's just like get to the passer, then he's not going to be these players. He's not going to be a 15 sack a season player. I mean, I think he had 6 last year or something like that.
What I liked the most about him last year, though, was the forced fumbles. He is so quick, and he gets to the quarterback before the quarterback can even knows the sack's coming, because a lot of times a veteran, a skilled quarterback will take the sack, but secure the ball. Kayvon, when he gets off that ball and off that edge, is so fast. Boom, the ball is already 5 yards away. He's knocked it out, and he recovered that. We saw that against the Ravens, and we saw him actually return one against the Commanders for a touchdown, which was awesome. So he will get his. I wanted to go on the record and say I have confidence in him. I hope he catches fire tonight because we're going to need it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely tonight. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but if he, I think it has to do with play calling. Wink's got to, we're facing Brock Purdy, and under pressure, he's not a great quarterback. He throws a lot of, mistargeted balls, a lot of interceptions in pressure scenarios. He has a decent left tackle with him, but the rest of the line is not.
He's got an all-pro left tackle.
Yep, all-pro left tackle, but the rest of the line is not good. They're really not. They're kind of scrubs, right? And that's what that's what I've been seeing. A lot of 49ers people are worried about is the rest of their like left guard to right tackle is a problem. So if we expose that, send the house. Wink, send the house.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
All right, moving on real quick. We'll go through the Jets. Jets had a really tough game against Dallas. So far, Dallas has played 2 New York teams, and they've absolutely destroyed us. It's been tough to watch. Zach Wilson was not able to get anything going through the air. Finished 12 of 27 for 170 yards, 3 interceptions. They didn't get anything going on the ground either. Last week, I talked about the Jets finding a replacement for Zach Wilson. So far, it looks like they'll be sticking with him. They haven't said anything different. My favorite guy for the job was Gardner Minshew. He got pushed up to starter in Indianapolis because Anthony Richardson went out with the concussion. Looks pretty good in that game, but now, obviously, the Colts aren't going to trade their guy. I'm hearing some buzz around Jameis Winston, possibly a trade.
I'll tell you this right now. If the Jets in 4 games, go from NFL Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers to bum Jameis Winston, I swear to God, call off the season. Call it off. Jameis Winston is garbage. I said this last year.
But at least he'll air it out.
At least
he'll air it out.
Air it out for 25 interceptions a year. He is garbage. Jameis Winston is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
He's better than Zach Wilson?
Is he better? Yes. He's a little bit better. Zach Wilson is also garbage. Jameis Winston right now is backing up Derek Carr in New Orleans, right?
That's correct.
I mean, Derek Carr is bad, but if I'm a Saints fan and I see Jameis Winston trot out on the field, I'm scared. He is not good. We saw it in Tampa when he threw for 25 or whatever, 30 interceptions.
But can I say something about that real quick? He also threw for 5,000 yards.
He also had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on his team.
Threw for 5,000 yards. That's not
Evans.
Easy to do.
He had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Something only a very few quarterbacks ever hit.
The Tampa Bay wide receiver room is stacked. It's always been. It's not that hard for a quarterback if you're just slinging it to sometimes get up there and get massive yards.
Okay, but maybe you tell Jameis, listen, we like the way you throw a deep ball. We got Garrett Wilson. We don't need you to go crazy, Jameis. Hand the ball to Breece Hall. Hand the ball to Dalvin Cook. And then air it out to open up the defense just a little bit. Because Zach Wilson on downfield passes looks absolutely lost. Absolutely lost.
I think the Jets have a better thing, like I don't know the word, but they're better off going with Zach Wilson and just riding him out until Aaron Rodgers gets back or until they can draft someone.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back this season.
Let's be honest. We're going to have to realize Zach Wilson in New York. Zach Wilson's not the answer. Zach Wilson is never going to be the answer. He is not good. He's not good. He crumbles in the pocket. He's athletic. Sure. He has a very good arm, for a very underrated arm, but he doesn't have the IQ. He doesn't have the poise to be a good quarterback. It's just not going to happen for him.
What upsets me about watching Zach Wilson is he'll stare down that first read, stare down. And then by the time he finally comes off that read, sack or whatever, but you got you got to read. Okay, read one. He's covered. I know it's tough, and I know that's what separates the great quarterbacks from the scrubs. But you got to be quicker with your reads, Zach.
He's also. I mean,
those targets.
We also like we were saying in San Francisco, like they're a very good team, and the Jets all around are a very good team. They have a very good defense, just like the Niners do. They have very good running backs, just like the Niners do. I just think that the way it also has to do with coaching because both their lines aren't good, but Kyle Shanahan for the Niners is a genius. Like he is probably one of the best play callers in the entire league. He's the best schematic play caller in the entire league.
Yeah, he's earned that.
On
I
the
think
other
he's
end
earned
of the
that. Yeah.
Jets, you have someone who, I mean, you have Nate Hackett, who is great, but he wasn't. He was preparing for Aaron Rodgers this entire offseason. And that's why they brought him in because of Aaron Rodgers
Yep.
and his connection.
Yep.
And now he's stuck with Zach Wilson. So maybe the play calling's not there. Head coach is a big thing. Robert Saleh is not good enough.
Defensive minded coach. What upsets me a little bit about Robert Saleh too was after that loss to the Cowboys, you got Brees Hall going on Twitter saying should have got me the ball more. Yeah, maybe you're right, Brees. But after Zach Wilson's first start, after New York was so deflated by that Aaron Rodgers injury, bro, you're 2 games in and you're already hating on the coach and hating on Zach Wilson. Dude, you got to show some sort of unity because last year the whole locker room turned on Zach Wilson. They lost so many games in a row to end the season.
And now they're stuck back with him.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no,
You can't
that's
even,
an embarrassment.
You have to go on Twitter already and start hating on your quarterback. What does that do to this young guy?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I don't want to talk too much about the Jets because I do want to get in this preview.
We got to get.
But last thing I'm gonna say is, remember when Trey Turner was But hear me out. Trey Turner was struggling in Philly this year. Remember how bad he was doing, and then the crowd gave him that ovation, and he's like, "Wow, that meant a lot."
Yeah.
Jets fans, you are stuck with Zach Wilson for the foreseeable future.
They're
you
never
going to
cheer for him.
Pretend to support this guy. At least pretend.
They're never gonna cheer for him, and rightfully so.
Moving on. Jets got the Patriots this week. Pats are 0-2. Should be a good defensive matchup. I'm excited for this game. Pats need to win. Jets would be awesome to beat the Pats.
The Pats are gonna win.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm not counting them out. I'm
not counting them out. I think it's gonna be a battle of the trash teams. But I mean,
Yankees. Do you mind if I run through the Yankees real quick?
Run through the Yankees.
Okay,
I mean,
Yankees real quick.
You know how I feel about them right now.
Yeah, it's been tough. Lost first 2 games in the series to the Blue Jays. Slow down. Garrett Cole on the mound tonight. I hope he can finish out the season strong, lock up that Cy Young. That would be really cool. And my one bright spot from the Yankees this week is that Carlos Rodon has looked a lot better of late. He's up the velocity on his fastball by 2 to 3 miles per hour. My guess is that it's the healthiest he's been all year, and his body's responding well. His last outing against the Pirates, he went for 6 2/3, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs with 10 strikeouts. So that's 9 strikeouts against the Red Sox, 10 strikeouts against the Pirates. Awesome to see that strikeout stuff back. Now we're starting to see that guy that we paid all that money for. Hopefully he stays healthy, carries this over to next season.
This season's completely over. Obviously, we know that 0% chance of making the playoffs, especially with these last 2 or 3 losses. But I'm over it.
I'm over it too. I'm trying to focus on some bright spots.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So
it's good for Cole that he's definitely up for the Cy Young. I think he's one of the favorite. Is the favorite. But let's just move on. Too many injuries.
All right. So Nico, I've been waiting to ask you this question all week. I know I kind of dropped some hints for you. After I ask you this question, I'll get into some key inactives for the game tonight. But obviously, what we saw from the Giants in that second half against Arizona was awesome. The offense was clicking. Daniel Jones looked like the $40 million guy. Nico, can the Giants carry that momentum from the Cardinals to the 49ers, or is that too much to ask and kind of impossible? Nico, let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible. The 49ers are probably the best team in the NFC. Not probably, definitely the best team in the NFC. They're the best team probably in the league. Their defense is locked down. Their offense is great. Their scheme is great. They have the best running back in the league. Their only real their weak side is their quarterback. If the Giants go in with the thought that, this is a great team, we're probably losing, we're out, right? But I don't think that we can ride beating the Cardinals into playing with the Niners, especially on a short week. Very little preparation for the game. We can go through the inactives.
The only bright spot for that, like the preparation part, was at least they were in Arizona and they stayed out on the West Coast.
Yeah, not a lot of traveling.
I hear you.
But
Saquon going down, we got burns.
Key inactives for the game. We got no Saquon because he suffered an ankle sprain. He's looking like 3-4 weeks out. Even though 2 days ago they were like, he's a fast healer.
I didn't buy that, yeah.
No Andrew Thomas again at left tackle. That's a problem. No Azeez Ojulari because he's always injured. Always injured. His entire Giants career so far has been injury. We have, I'm not too worried about Matt Breida and Kenneth Gainwell in the backfield, but I'm definitely worried about the left tackle, like always. If I really want to talk while I figure out the Giants line right now.
It's it was Izuda, I think is how
Yeah,
you say it. Yeah.
Josh Azudu, and
It'll probably be Brederson.
Yeah, Brett Brederson.
Schmidt.
I actually talk about him, JMS,
Yeah.
the center. He's actually
been looking good.
He's been looking really good. Besides the first week where he was just messing up a couple snaps, but it was also wet. I'm really big fan of him, and if we can get more linemen that are actually competent, like Marco Lewinsky, who got benched, he's absolutely terrible. I mean, this is a huge problem.
Sorry, yeah, Bredesen is not playing tonight.
He's not.
Left guard Bredesen out with concussion.
Great.
So that stinks.
So
Lewinsky looked really, really bad against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
and then for the 49ers, it's looking like Brandon Ayuk is questionable. We'll know more about 6:30 when the official report is posted. But what I've been seeing on Twitter is that they're leaning towards inactive. Shoulder, neck
Brandon
injury
Ayuk, right?
last week.
Does it really matter? Does it really matter? They still have Debo. They still have CMC.
Yeah. Although I will say for the Giants' defensive CMC,
George Kittle.
The Giants actually did pretty well against CMC last year. And when he was still with the Panthers, they played the Giants. And what the Giants did on defense was everywhere that CMC lined up, Xavier McKinney lined up. Shadowed him the entire game.
The whole problem with that is that, it's a different scheme in Carolina. There was a different scheme in Carolina. And because they weren't using Kyle Shanahan's playbook, obviously, when he came here, he has 7 straight games with a touchdown.
Yeah, no, he
7 straight
off.
games.
I know it's totally different.
Yeah,
but I like that strategy.
He's an absolute powerhouse, and
he's been looking good this year.
And especially, I think they've been. Lining up X in the slot, I guess in the slot or in the box. Slot, yeah, like we can. Maybe that would help, but I think the one thing to get to this Niners team is sending pressure. You have to. You got to send Dex. You got to send Leonard.
We're going to need it.
You have to send Kayvon, and you got to work around a bunch of things. Bobby Okereke had a good game last week. Mm-hmm. Utilize him the correct way. Bring in Isaiah Simmons that we picked up.
Yeah.
Use them. He's not an every down linebacker, but use him. We have to bring pressure. We have to send, we have to send full box blitz, and we have to attack him, attack the quarterback, and try to stop the run, right? Because he's not throwing these long, throws to Deebo Samuel. They're usually chip throws, or usually drop downs. That's the way to beat them. There's no way. That's the way to beat them on defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
If our defense has to play a very good, if not perfect game to beat this team, and our offense has to do a really good job.
I like the point you made. They're near perfect.
Perfect.
Here's what I think. Nick Bosa with no Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal, who's had his struggles, he's going to get his sacks tonight. It's a matter of fact, Giants fans, you can't. We're going to shut down Nick Bosa. We're going to be inspired. It's going to happen. My key here that I wrote down, Nico, I think you'll like this. Limit penalties. We cannot shoot ourselves in the foot. Okay, Nick Bosa is going to get his. That's okay. No penalties, no fumbles. Okay, be smart. We got to be smarter than the 49ers if we want a chance.
I think the one thing that we're going to start witnessing, especially this week, and we've been seeing it for the rest of the beginning of the season, we're seeing the last days of Evan Neal, my right tackle, because he is not good. Yeah. He is not. He doesn't
you're ready to push.
He doesn't get into his positions. He doesn't get to his markers. He does not get his hands where they need to be. He gets blown by. He's an athletic guy. He's very athletic, just like Andrew Thomas is. But Andrew Thomas's skill is by far better. He is an all-pro tackle. Evan Neal's not there. I don't think Evan Neal's gonna get there.
Okay,
I think I think we're in trouble.
So
last time we played the Niners, they were I forgot when we played them last. But they were heavily attacking that right side of Evan Neal, right? That's where they were attacking. Yep. And Evan Neal, and especially now since Andrew Thomas is out at left tackle, they are going to be attacking hard. They're going to be sending a lot of blitzes. Nick Bosa is going to do his job. He's going to get 3 sacks.
I have one more thing I wanted to bring up, and then we'll throw out our final prediction, our score predictions, and first touchdown scores. Wan'Dale Robinson could make his season debut tonight. I don't know how much to expect out of him. I don't even know if he'll play, but they're leaning towards playing him tonight. He looked good in what we got to see from his rookie year. Very shifty. Reminded me of a young Sterling Shepard. Got good hands.
Before he got hurt, he had a 100-yard game when he got hurt.
Yeah.
The game he got hurt, it was 100 yards.
He was popping off. Right? Yeah. So I'm excited.
If we use him in replacement, or not in replacement, but in tandem with Paris Campbell, because Paris Campbell's also a slot receiver. If you go in and out, we don't have to use him all the time, but I feel like Wan'Dale is going to be a little bit better than Paris because he has more
we'll see. I mean, first game
he has more yards after the catch. Let them ease him in, but using that tandem and slot, I think it's going to be a really good.
I'm excited,
especially with Jalen Hyatt on the outside clearing everything, using the slot receiver, using our tight end Darren Waller. I believe Darren Waller will have a great game.
I hope so. I have my.
I think we got a touchdown in here. For Darren Waller.
Nico, final score predictions and first touchdown score. Let me hear it, or if you need a minute to think about it.
Final score. I feel terrible doing this. We're going to lose.
But we're 10.5 point underdogs.
The Giants, 10.5 point underdogs. The Giants are probably going to get. I mean, if they don't play, they have to play a near perfect game to win this. But when have I ever done this? Giants 35. Niners 15. Niners.
You think we're gonna blow out the
Niners?
49ers?
Niners 27. First touchdown of the game, Daniel Jones.
30. I don't see us hanging 30 on the 49ers.
For anyone who's watching, the Niners have averaged 30 points a game for the past 15 games.
I think 28-17 49ers. And I'm a Giants fan. I want to see them do well. I don't think we score more than 20 points on this defense.
Neither do I, but I can't say that. I can't put that into a prediction. That's going to break my soul.
First touchdown score, you got Daniel Jones. I'm going to say first touchdown score, Slayton on a deep ball, 30-plus yard air on the pass, Daniel Jones. They're going to be watching Waller. They're going to be watching other people. Slayton runs up that right side. Boom, touchdown. Slayton, first touchdown.
The Niners play very far back in cover two. Very far. They play they're trying to. I'm just saying they play very far back and deep. So, but I think that
last points, yeah.
I think we lose, but my prediction is that we win by whatever 10 or whatever it is.
I said 28-17. We lose by 11.
I say 30. What is it? 35-27. We win. First drive of the game, we're driving down the field. Daniel Jones goes for the little shovel pass to Breida, keeps it, turns around, runs it in.
I love it. Right. I love it. All right, folks, that's all we got for this week. We'll be back same time next week. Thank you, Ryan, for tuning in. Next week, I'll do a little Saints takes for you as well. Go Giants. We'll see you guys next week.
You got to fade into the music.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll get going on that.